Growing up, I was mainly brought up on books. My mum loved reading as a child and she wanted to carry that on with me and my sister. So I think the ones that captured my mindset more and my imagination were the romance ones, like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. And I kind of looked at them one day and watched the films and I thought they didn't relate to our generation now. For example, one of my favourites, The Notebook. Yes, it shows what romance was back in the 1940s and 1950s, but it doesn't correlate to romance now, and it has changed a lot through 50 or 60 years. And that's something I did want to show with this film. I did want to show the difficulties with social media and easy contacting, and how one simple message could spiral something that goes out of control. The plan was to create something relatable to my target audience, which was young adults and teenagers. And I think I have achieved that with the film I'm Sorry. It's very relatable and it does use social media as influences. It also shows how today you don't have to, just because you're a girl, you don't have to fight for the relationship. The boy could do it. And I think that's very important for this generation, because a lot of girls think, oh, just because I'm the girl, I have to fight for the relationship. I can't decide, oh, I want to just take a step back and maybe let it all end. And the boys think it's not my job to fight, it's the girl's job. When in fact, if you want something, you need to fight for it. Girls, if you don't want something, just let it. The narrative structure of my film is very, very different. It includes a flashback and it doesn't really show the new equilibrium because it's a cliffhanger. I chose to not show the new equilibrium because I wanted to convey to the audience that your future is not written down on a piece of paper. You are not a story. You create your own story through your decisions you make, and you don't have to always agree on everything with everyone. It's a non-linear film, which means that it is a bit jumpy, which I did try to add some transitions between the two scenes with the present and flashback, just so that it made sense to the audience and the audience could say, oh, that's the flashback, oh, that's now in the present day. I think the technique of a cliffhanger should be used a bit more in romance films. They are an interesting convention and they kind of leave the audience wanting more. And it also kind of shows you that no matter what you decide, when you're in a romantic relationship, it will affect someone else. It will not just affect you, it will affect your partner, it will affect your friendships, it may even affect your family life, you don't know. And that's what I wanted to show as well, that it's going to affect different people different ways. I think one of the conventions that should be used a bit more in the romance genre is the use of showing both sides of the arguments. This is done in The Notebook when you're showing Noah not move on, but Ali is moving on. But it's something that should be expressed. It is something that should be shown a bit more, that one side may be right, one side may be wrong, or they might just both be wrong, and it's something that should be explored a bit more. And I find it very fascinating showing both sides of the argument, because it does teach people, oh, maybe they were right, oh, maybe I was right and they were wrong. But you do need to sit back and think, am I being stubborn about this? Is it my fault, or which it might not be, or is it the fact that we're just not agreeing and we're having an argument over something that could just be a little misunderstanding, that's all. For a fact that one of the proudest moments of the entire production is how my script turned out. This was the first time I've ever written a script. I was not confident in myself, but I loved the way it came out, and I am so proud of the work I did put into it. It was 3 days of solid concentration. I did look at various films through that, see how I wanted my scene 2 to play out, see how I wanted the characters' relationship to kind of just slowly crack and deform. And I also like the fact that the last words were "I'm sorry," which was the title of the film. And I think that shows that sorry could mean different things. I'm sorry I'm going to break up with you, or I'm sorry about the whole argument, or it could just mean I'm not really sorry, I'm just saying it for the sake of saying it. I am really proud of how my scene 2 turned out. It's not exactly how I envisioned it, but I think arguably it's better. I didn't expect to add the black and white effect, but I did, and it kind of made it seem a bit more like a dream rather than reality. I also found a little white kind of faded effect that I think helped it make it look more like a dream. And I did add an echo to one of the voices. I did go through and re-edit some stuff, like take the echo out of one of the characters' voices, just so that it would be a bit clearer and kind of help with my audience in the final production. One of the things that didn't work for my production was the filming days. Unfortunately, one of my actors were very unreliable. The rest were very reliable. They showed up in the right clothes and they showed up on time. However, one of them just let the group down. And I think if they had been a bit more reliable, I would have been less stressed and would have been concentrating a bit more on making sure it was the shots were correct, rather than trying to push it out with the little time we had left on the location. Also, when it came to reshoots, they were very unreliable. I did get a text one day. I did ask them if they were filming one day, and they were like, "Oh no, I'll film that day," and then decided that day that they weren't going to film. And then so we had to move the shooting back, and then from that they decided that they wouldn't show up, which did kind of ruin my aspect, because that was the last possible day I had to film. And then when I told some of my actors not to turn up, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to turn up now." So it was a bit of a hassle trying to get there, but we did get there in the end, and I am proud of what I have completed. One thing I deeply regret is not including Megan in my final production. I think she would have been a really good asset to the whole production. I believe if I had added her in, it would have been a bit more jealousy coming from Sarah's point of view, and Liam thinking, "Oh, this is just how we act, this is our friendship." And you could have really kind of discovered a bit more about their relationship compared to Liam and Sarah's. So if I had done that, I probably would have taken a few characters out, such as possibly Jane or Mike or maybe Tom, we don't know, but you do kind of need that balance of the bad guy and the good guy just to equal it out. I think despite all the issues I occurred along the way, this production was very successful. I think it would have been a bit better if I had worked a bit more on certain scenes, but I am very proud of what I have achieved in this production, and I personally think that this may be one of the best ones in terms of planning and my scripts, and I am more confident with this production. It also shows what I have achieved over the last 2 years at college, and I am proud of myself of how far I have come.